After a week filled with handshakes, campaign conversations, and interactions with more than 1,200 delegates, Grande Prairie Councillor Dylan Bressey emerged as the newly elected president for Alberta Municipalities. Bressey secured 62.7% of the vote, defeating Penhold Mayor Mike Yargeau, who received 29.6%, and Community's first Calgary councillor Andre Chabot, who earned 7.7%. Now, during his campaign speech Friday morning, Bressey told delegates he was energized by the opportunity to represent Alberta's diverse municipalities, including summer villages, towns, and cities. He emphasized the importance of unity in what he describes as challenging times.
I am invested in your success, and I'm excited to be your voice. And that voice really matters these days, because there's some challenges. But when you face challenges, know that you're not alone. There's over 1,200 people in this room that will pick up the phone to help out if you need some advice, encouragement, or ideas. You also have an association of Alberta municipalities that's been working hard to show up for you in even stronger ways. We've been recalibrating advocacy, focused on matters of policy we can actually influence so we can have a bigger impact. We've been gathering your data and stories and putting them together in easy to understand infographics so you have the tools needed to share with both your residents and your MLAs the story about your good work and also your municipal challenges.
Bressey was first elected to Grande Prairie City Council in 2017 and has been since re-elected twice, most recently in October. He now steps into the role previously held by interim President Deborah Reid-Mickler, who took over after former President Tyler Gandam was defeated in last month's municipal election. Several new and returning members will join Bressey on the Alberta Municipalities Board. For the role of directors of cities up to 500,000 positions, Chestermere Councillor Janelle Sambo, Spruce Grove Councillor Aaron Stevenson, and Lethbridge Councillor Jen Schmidt-Rempel were elected. Sambo and Stevenson will serve 2-year terms, while Schmidt-Rempel will complete a 1-year term before facing re-election in Edmonton in 2026. Now, in the role of Towns East Director, Bonnyville Councillor David Schron defeated Lamont Councillor Al Harvey by a vote of 69-30. The Town South position will be filled by High River Councillor Jenny Jones, who earned 58 votes. Her challengers, Carstairs Deputy Mayor Angie Frick and Canmore Deputy Mayor Tanya Foubert, received 52 votes and 28 votes, respectively. Jones replaced former Colehurst Councillor Scott Ackerman. Now, Aaron Stevenson of Spruce Grove was also elected as vice president for cities up to 500,000, defeating Lethbridge Councillor Jen Schmidt-Rempel 54 votes to 23 votes. Now, the new board also includes Calgary councillors Andre Chabot and John Pantazopoulos, as well as Edmonton councillors Karen Tang and Thu Parmer. Additional directors include Kalmar Mayor Krista Gardner for Towns West, Amisk Mayor Bill Rock for Villages East, Alberta Beach Mayor Tara Elwood for Villages West, Duchess Deputy Mayor Deborah Reid-Mickler for Villages South, and Brian Waterhouse, Mayor of the Summer Village of Sundance for Summer Villages Director. Now, we caught up with President Bressey after his victory.
President, thank you so much for doing this. Greatly appreciated on day 3. First off, congratulations on your election. How does it feel to be the incoming, now president of Alberta Municipalities?
Oh, it's absolutely humbling. When you're elected by your peers, that really means something special. Also bittersweet because Tyler Gandam was so great for association, and we're going to miss him. So bittersweet, but really sweet at the same time.
During your speech, you talked about listening. You talked about going out and connecting with members. Why is that important for you as you enter into this new role?
Yeah, and I think the thing that every good councillor and mayor understands is that when they hear from their residents, that's when they're most effective. Our residents are the experts of what's going on in our community and what they want to see changed. And same way with our elected officials for Alberta municipalities. We've got strength only if we're working with our members and if we're a collective voice for them. So we need to hear from them.
So the big question I think small villages, towns are going to be asking is, how does a councillor from Grande Prairie represent me the village of Cesar or the village of Barons? How do you anticipate yourself ensuring that all voices matter when you come to your presidency?
Yeah, and we've always had a culture at our board table of you're elected by your constituency, but you represent all municipalities once you hit that board table. And that's very much the expectation I think our new directors will have, and I know I'll have of them. But I know for me, because I took that responsibility seriously, I have visited villages and towns, not just cities across the province. And over the last couple of weeks, I've had the really fun time of calling every mayor I could find a phone number for and emailing every councillor I could get an email address for. And it was really fascinating to hear the different priorities that really are the same fundamental issues that this province has. And I know that city issues and village issues are often the exact same, just on a different scale and with different solutions that are localized.
1,200 members from across Alberta descended upon Calgary for this year's convention. The energy that I felt in this room is an energy that I've not felt in any other municipal organization. What does that say about your members?
And I'm glad I'm not the only one that noticed that. It is both our returning and our newly electeds here. Holy smokes, are they passionate about their communities and passionate about serving their residents. And I think that Albertans should know that they're in really good hands. They've got councillors and mayors that are dedicated to building thriving local communities, because that really is how all of Alberta becomes successful.
But as always, there's the challenges that were discussed in the hallways, the networking sessions. One area in particular is property taxes. Property taxes. Day 2 of the convention, 86% said the provincial government needs to either reimburse us or take over property taxes. You're now new president. You're going to be working with your board. What does the future path look like for the organization under a Bressey leadership, looking at what the results that you saw around property taxes?
And I know for me, what I'm hearing from my colleagues is the biggest priority is affordability. And we know that property taxes drive affordability, but also we need to have good services as residents are struggling. So there's always a fine balance there. But also I think my colleagues want transparency. And that means that they want residents to know what's driving costs and what's driving those property tax bills. So I think what our councillors are saying is we want to be really clear about here are the cost drivers of municipalities, here are the cost drivers of the province. And that's something that our association with our Reimagining Property Tax campaign that puts that data out there in easy to understand formats is set to help them communicate to the residents and MLAs.
Your new board, a lot of new faces on
Yeah.
it. You're kind of the old man on the block a little
am.
bit.
Yeah.
Looking at the new faces that are on the board, are you excited about the next 2 years?
I'm really excited. We've got 8 out of the 15 of us or sorry, I actually need to go do my math. But anyways, we do have a number of new faces around the board, a majority new faces, and that's going to be new energy, new ideas around that boardroom table, which is really exciting. And I'm really looking forward to getting to know our new board members to figure out how are we going to serve our members even better than we already are.
Because when you look at the geographic makeup of the board, it's every corner. All 5 corners of the province are represented on the board. That gives you a unique perspective because you're not just talking from the north, the south, the east, the west. You're talking for all one of Alberta. So as president, it's going to be easy for you a little bit, isn't it?
Certainly makes it easier because all of Alberta really does is we're interrelated. We need every community to be successful and sustainable if we want our own community to prosper.
So my final question before I let you get back into the room is, what does the next 2 years look like for you? What do you have to do now? Because I can imagine working with the provincial government, working with the federal government, working with your rural counterparts are going to be top priority. But what's priority number 1 for you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to cheat a little bit and say 2 priorities.
Okay, go for it. You can say 3 if you want, even, Dylan. President, sorry. Going to get used to that, okay?
I appreciate it. No, but number 1 priority, again, it is that member engagement, especially with new board members. Make sure that our city board members understand towns and villages and summer villages, and those board members understand our cities, and make sure that we're working to create that collective voice through member engagement as priority number 1. But priority number 2 is we just heard Minister Williams talk about how he wants to reset the relationship with municipalities a little bit, and he's looking forward to collaborative relationships where we can work on the things we agree on, but also have real mature conversations about the things where we might differ. And I'm looking forward to resetting that and being a really strong partner with the province to figure out in our own mandates how do we all serve Albertans together.
I know I said that was my last question, but if you will learn very quickly over the next 2 years that I will say my last question, and I'll have 2 others.
I know what I'm getting into. I've watched all your interviews.
That's true. Where do you go from here now? You're going to be meeting with your board. You're going to be meeting with your administration because it's now the Bressey administration. Where do you go as the now president? Is it just, okay, hit the ground running? Do you take a day off and say, okay, I need to reset myself because the next 2 years is going to be busy? Or do you go back to Grande Prairie and say, okay, Grande Prairie, we need to have a conversation because my work is going to be split between Grande Prairie and the entire province now?
Yeah, I mean, we already had that conversation back home. I've got a phenomenal council and a really great mayor who understand the value that this brings to all communities, including ours. So we've already had that conversation. I appreciate their support. But literally where I'm going right after this is our new board has been invited by Mr. Williams to go have lunch. And so we're going to start building that relationship right when this convention ends.
Well, that's awesome. Well, President Bressey, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. Greatly appreciate it, and looking forward to the next 2 years of chatting with you.
Thank you.
From the smallest village to the largest city, across every region of the province, Alberta Municipalities represents the communities where over 85% of Albertans live. AB Munis provides a united voice for 265 of Alberta's 330 municipalities, including summer villages, towns, cities, and specialized municipalities. As Alberta's largest municipal group, AB Munis listens to municipal leaders and advocates for solutions to their common issues. Additionally, AB Munis supports local governments by providing services specially designed to meet their operational needs. And they bring their members together regularly so they can share ideas and information so that their communities can thrive. Check out Alberta Municipalities at abmunis.ca and follow them on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, now called X. Finally, we spoke with Alberta Municipalities CEO Dana Mackey about the energy and optimism filling the halls of the convention centre, as veteran leaders and first-time councillors alike come together to chart the future of local governance in Alberta. Dana, thank you so much for chatting with me. Greatly appreciate it. Here on day one of the convention, 1,200 delegates from across the province. Largest gathering in municipal history.
Indeed, yeah.
First-time convention attendee. How does it feel to have so much energy on day one?
Yeah, it feels great. The energy, you're right, it's very high. It's very exciting to be here. We've gone through our first day today. We've had our keynote speakers. We've started our first sessions. Tomorrow we're going to get into resolutions. We're going to get the opportunity to host the Premier, Minister Dan Williams, and then on Friday, more of our resolution process will unfold, and then we'll be hosting about 20 cabinet ministers. And so it's a great kickoff for today. We're starting with high energy.
One of the things that you and I talked about just on Monday was you're hoping to have the discussions here as for incoming CEO, first year in the role, have those conversations started between you and delegates about what they want to see?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And conversations are happening between delegates and delegates. And one of the things I'm really enjoying seeing is our returning delegates or returning members deliberately engage with those that have been newly elected into their roles, and that relationship formation starting, which I think will sow seeds over the 4 years of everyone's terms.
What's the message you're hoping that delegates will take away? I know we're on day one, but this might be listened to afterwards. What is the message that you want delegates to take away from these 3 days?
Yeah, well, of course, strengthen members, right? That, whether you come from a summer village, a town, or a city, and be that a small or a larger city, the challenges that you're faced in your community are shared with others. There is a peer network here to exchange best practices and ideas with, so you can bring home the best ideas to your home community and make good governance decisions. And then you're not alone when you're there. There's a peer network that you meet here that you can continue to cultivate going forward, and that our organization works with all our members to take the commonality of those issues and work on everyone's behalf to speak in one voice.
Dana, always a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another edition of Municipal Affairs. Now, we hope you've enjoyed today's conversation and gained some valuable insights. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platforms, or if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button now. Your support means the world to us. So share this episode with your friends, your family, and yes, even your community, and help keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we will be back with another edition of Municipal Affairs shortly. Till then, everyone.